And there are interventions by the Central Bank of Nigeria which you can have access to.
There's too much. See, there are too many disadvantages that you open yourself up to without, without registering your business. So it's just best you do it.
All right.
And
so
the sooner you do it, the better.
Intellectual property.
Yes. Intellectual property. People do not understand that the idea behind your business is intellectual property, right? It is something
it's not
that
just
you
the
should
name,
own.
right?
Yes, the idea, and then the name, the brand name, and then your logo, all the paraphernalia around your business is your intellectual property that you should own, that your business should own, right? So when we are talking about all of those things, we're talking about trademarking, we're talking about copyrights, we're talking about industrial designs, we're talking about patents. The most common ones that are used in businesses today are, trademarks. That's the most common, right? And then, of course, you can talk about copyrights. That one is to cover creative works like music, like art, like, spoken words, poetry, literature, So the way I like to differentiate it is this. Trademark, covers the form.
Okay.
While copyright covers the content. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yes, so
the form, that's the shape it takes.
The shell, yes, which is like the brand name and the logo and all that paraphernalia, while the copyright itself covers the substance. When you talk about the actual creative work, you're talking about, content of your website, literary works, music. Even if you're a songwriter, you just songwrite, you don't particularly sing. Of course, you can copyright, right? Then books, you write a book, you write a novel, even if it's an intellectual, like a professional novel, book, not just a novel, to spoken words, to poetry, all of those kind of things are covered by, what do they call it? Copyright. Yes. Now, for patents are more, are fewer in the sense that before you can patent something, it has to be something that is new. Okay. They like to use the French word nouveau, something that is new in that particular
Is there anything
field.
Really new? Because some people will tell you that idea that came to you has gone to several other people.
Exactly. Well, there are so many steps you need to be able to, so many hurdles you need to be able to pass to be able to prove that your idea is new. So it's not, that's why you don't hear of so many patents. You don't hear of so many patents, right? So it must be something that you just created. Like I said, the requirements, yes, are a lot before you can be giving a patent to something, right? So, like I said earlier, a lot of the intellectual property that we use in business are mostly trademarks and copyright.
So what are the steps to take in protecting your intellectual property?
Well, like I said, first things first is for you to register a company. Once you do that, of course, you approach a lawyer as well, who will now advise you on, one, what exactly to trademark.
Okay. And also, there are things to trademark and things you cannot trademark.
Well, yes.
Talk to us about that.
Well, for example, there's if you do a search, and you have to do a search, for example, just like you do for a business name or a limited at CAC. You have to do a search to ensure that that mark itself, that trademark, that name you want to trademark, your brand name is available. Because even if it's registered at CAC, if somebody has registered that same name or something similar, it won't pass, right? So you most likely be advised to probably tweak your brand name, in such a way that, it can pass. Or maybe you trademark something else entirely, then that probably becomes your brand name. So that is why I usually advise, if you want to create proper structure for your business, not only should you do a search at CAC, also do a trademark search to make sure that what it is you want to register at CAC is equally available, if you want to trademark.
Wow.
Right, yeah, so that you have that seamless flow. And then the moment you register your business at CAC, go ahead very quickly and trademark, right? And I also advise brands, especially those of them in the tech space. Those are not the only searches you have to do. If you want to register a brand name or you want to trademark, right, you need to also do some searches to make sure that that particular name or word is available as a website. you also don't want to go ahead and you're using a name that there's already a similar app, you know, on the App Store, on you know, Play Store, or either iOS or Android. That's always a big deal. So I've had a couple of people that have approached me, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Before we even go to CAC, let's backtrack. Let's do search on, you know, these search engines where you can find out, you know, whether a website name is available or not. And then we find out that it is not. Sometimes you go ahead and you find out that there's an app that already has that name, and you're stuck.
You know, this sounds like a whole lot, and I'm just wondering who is responsible for enlightening people, sensitizing them, letting them know these processes.
Well, that's where we come in, right? As lawyers.
But are lawyers doing enough to educate people?
Well, yes, they are. I think they are. Of course, more can be done. More can be done because I'm sure if you ask many business owners, many people do not know these things you're talking about. They don't know. They don't know.
It means a lot still needs to be done.
A lot needs to be done. I agreed. You know, so whenever I have any opportunity to share, I always, as much as possible, let them know as much as possible. I remember recently there was a startup that approached me, and then they wanted to register their business. I said, okay, hold up. We backtracked, and we found out that name, there was an app. You know, see, we have seen situations of recent where some artists have had to change their name. I don't want to mention names, right? Where they've had to change their name because somebody else in that same field, in that same industry, is using that name or a similar name.
Okay.
It might be just one word, but because that person has been in the field longer and, you know, has gone by that name for so long, and then you are just taking one word out of it, and you're using it to create a compound name, they will take you out.
But does that apply to titles, to, for instance, titles of songs, of movies, and all of that? Because I've seen a lot of titles that are the same, similar, and it still flies.
Okay, yes. Not everything, like I said, not everything can be trademarked. Then, of course, there are some generic words that you cannot trademark. Okay. For example, school. You can't trademark school.
Okay. Because, you know, I remember, was it Kanye and, what's this man's name? Burna Boy. Yeah. They had the same title for a song, a particular song, back then, and, you know, a lot of controversy went into that. But let's not go into that. Let's wrap it up because I know we're out of time. Let's talk about the cost implication of all of this.
Well, different lawyers, different firms have different pricing methods, right? Then, of course, there are some people who, because of relationship, right, can give you really affordable prices. Then, of course, in some cases, trade by barter, right? You do this, I offer you this, and then we switch, and then, of course, depending on whatever it is we agree on, right? So I don't think costing or the pricing of legal services should be the reason why people don't use legal services or solutions. I can bet you that a lot of the business that entrepreneurs face in their business have a legal angle and have legal solutions, from dealing with your employees to dealing with your customers, your clients, to dealing with people that you're doing, third parties you're doing business with, suppliers, you know, people, importers. Every single thing has legal connotation. Every single aspect of your business has a legal connotation.
But it's not neck-breaking when it comes to cost implications.
Well, ordinarily it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but of course, like I said, different firms have different pricing methods and different costing methods. So of course, if firm A you can't afford firm A, you can always have firm options. B. You have options.
Okay, so I know we're wrapping it up now, but I'm just interested in the concept behind pocket lawyers. Okay, so we just looked in the space and then we just realized that, you know, more needs to be done, especially from an enlightenment point of view.